it was just very uncomfortable. I don't know if that was him trying to be, I have no way. I don't even know how to react. The episode just ended and I was not expecting that. But also, welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome. If you're a returning subby, welcome back. This episode, my mouth's dropping, and things I even recorded myself when they went on their secret trip, because there was a part where it got really weird. I'm going to insert that clip, my reaction. Very live, very real. But oh my god, again, considering these are 20-minute episodes, they pack so much into it. I just don't know how to react. I have my notes. You can see I'm kind of staggered because I'm really shocked. I did not expect the episode to start with them immediately on vacation. There was no lead up. There was no like, this is what the excuse is going to be. This is where they're at. This is how I just was at vacation. I was like, maybe it's a dream. Maybe like it's going to flash back, or I guess that doesn't make sense. I was gonna like thinking it was a flashback into the future or something like that. I was just like, oh, we're starting right at the getaway. Did not expect it to pan out like that. But it's on the vacation for Eric's birthday. Like the synopsis says, Eric and Claire go on a secret trip to celebrate his 18th birthday. But like, how do they get there? Where's the storyline? Like, I don't know. And then how do they embark on this trip without his mom tripping out and her husband asking questions? Like, how? But again, I'm sure they're gonna have to explain it later. That's like literally what I was telling myself, but also just like, how long were they away for? Because like, it was daylight, they spent a night, another daylight came on, and I was like, okay, they're just gone maybe, I guess for the weekend, but it still felt like a long time just watching it. So they're there, and the first starts out with Eric like recording her inside the house. He's like, I never see you like this. They're all giggly and like giddy and stuff. And then when they eventually go outside, Claire tells Eric to delete the video off the phone. Okay, here's shame, or like, I guess, so here is reasons of regret or reasons of like embarrassment or whatever word to use times 100, because this is always what's happening. There's always like, delete the message, change my name, make sure you don't say anything. Like, there's always these little things. And that was the first thing in the whole episode. And then when Eric was like, when did you get this cabin? Or like, when did you book this? She stated it was weeks ago. And I was like, how much time has elapsed between the last episode and this one? But then when they were sitting down, Claire explained that his SAT scores have came back and that he passed them. I don't really remember how long it takes for the SAT scores to be graded, but obviously it's more than 2 weeks. So the last episode, because I remember the last episode, she's like, oh, the SATs are in 2 weeks. Let's start scheduling our time. So that's kind of like the basis of where I can assume where it's at in the episode. That's the most I can really like guess from it in that sense. But then while they were sitting there, Claire got vulnerable and she started to talk more about her mom. I'm not really sure if she's really talked about her mom in prior episodes. I just know she's really talked about her dad and how he's an alcoholic and how she had to take care of him with the mom. I didn't realize until this episode that she had passed away due to cancer. So there's that stressor in her life, her dad being an alcoholic, and that like her brother went off overseas, I think for the military. So like she was alone. So again, that's kind of like, for me, giving me validation of why she's kind of trying to live through Eric like vicariously, or just like his adolescence. Because again, she didn't get that. She didn't get the luxury of being wild and partying and drinking the way Eric is. So I guess again, that's how she's getting that through him. But then like as Claire was opening up about her childhood and her parents, she asked Eric about his dad, because you know Eric's dad is not in the picture, because obviously the last episode Eric's mom went on a date, that whole situation. So she's like, are you not curious? And he's like, you know what, like I'm really just not interested in it. I'm not intrigued to like look more into it. Like, he's in the past for a reason. And that's kind of how some people are when I guess a parent walks out on them. Like, kind of hear either like they decide to look for them, or there's like, if they were gone, they're gone for a reason. So that's kind of how Eric's spectrum's on this. And then the next morning, they wake up in bed and Claire's husband calls, and she like hops out and like goes and like talks outside, because again, like she could talk inside because obviously he's not going to know what's going on where her perimeters are at, but it's kind of awkward to talk on the phone with him while Eric's there, which is like, you feel kind of ashamed, you feel bashful about it. Obviously you feel some type of way because you know it's inappropriate to talk with your husband in front of this guy you have this like fling thing with. So if you didn't feel guilty, you wouldn't have had to feel the need to go outside. When she goes outside, Eric's kind of like looking outside, remorseful and sad, you know, all this stuff. Like, he's kind of like progressively getting more and more like looking in every episode, or like reactions to things. I don't want to say he was smiling a lot before, maybe he was, but he wasn't always looking sad. Like, that's a definite fact. But when he calls her husband, I'm surprised he's not like, where are you? Where, like, when are you coming back? It was more of like just catching up and like, oh, are you coming to my gigs? You know, he's in his little band thing. So it's more or less kind of just checking in on her and confirming she's going to be there for the gig the next day, or like 4 p.m. or something is what they said on the phone call. What was the weird part, which I have the clip of me reacting to, and obviously it's going to be kind of awkward in the background. Eric is weird when she comes back inside, which makes sense because he knows that she was on the phone with her husband, and he told her to get on the table and take off her underwear, and it was very like weird, aggressive, didn't expect it, don't know if that's like a man. It was just like, I really had to like, and I'll show you this clip. Oh God. What? It was just very uncomfortable. I don't know if that was him trying to be, it was weird. And like, she was like, what? And he's like, it was just so, again, he's 18. Oh God. Let's see what I wrote about it. I wrote, Eric was distant/down when she was on the phone with her husband, and ... what? He aggressively told her to take her underwear off to hook up with her to ... relieve his anger, frustrations about their situations. ? Like what? Like I was very just like, don't know what I'm watching. That was super weird. So yeah, that was uncomfortable for me as a whole series. After that, it fast forwards them outside because, you know, they have a little hookup sesh. I guess that's just them pretending nothing happened. And Claire's like, I've never smoked weed before. So again, I'm not saying that you need to smoke weed or drink as a rite of passage to like being an adult. I don't know. That's just like, she didn't experiment when she was young. Whereas he's, I don't know how much younger than her, but younger than her and like smoking weed in high school. So it's like she didn't do that. And now she's kind of doing it through him because they did shotgun. I've never heard of that term until this. I'm not saying that's something important, but they did that. She's like, let's shotgun again together. I don't know. So he smokes and like blows it into her mouth or something, and they're being reckless together because that's their whole relationship. When they go back inside, they're drinking beers and stuff, and like she kind of had like a slip up because she was like being weird about their future and saying like, wow, when you go to college, all these girls are gonna be all over you and you're gonna have sex with a lot of girls. And when I was in college, my first was my current husband, so like she didn't experiment and stuff. Again, this guy's in high school. Hers was her senior in college, and that's who she's married to. So obviously his experience might be, or potentially is more than his teacher who's older than him. And she's like, yeah, you're gonna do all this when you're older. And it's kind of like weird because like that's kind of her giving like the indication that she knows it's not gonna last, if she knows there's no future. So it's like, what is the situation? Again, putting his feelings like in jeopardy because he's like, I like you, but you're saying this and this. Like it's very unclear what she's kind of thinking of the outcome and stuff, which I feel for him. You don't really need to be a girl or a guy for your feelings to be confused. Like she's just being very, very all over the place because again, it's a very weird situation and no one knows how it's gonna end yet. But then she's also like, oh, we should go to a bar. And Eric's like, I don't have a fake ID. And she's like, oh. Yeah, I'm like, is she that drunk? Like how, you know he's underage, you know he's in high school, you know you could go to the bar together. So it was like a weird slip up and very awkward because he got up and went to the kitchen to like scroll through his birthday messages. And then eventually Claire comes in, sees he's like dejected, like I've said he's been this whole time. And she's like, what's going on? And he's like, he says, you're gonna go back to him and this would have never happened. Claire says, you're not gonna want me when you go to college. You're gonna be done with me. I'm risking my entire life with you. But then the conversation somehow just turned into them saying, I love you to each other after this unresolved issues. Because I guess how can they resolve it? But it was very unresolved. And then it's just very toxic, the whole relationship. Or maybe that's not like a real genuine definition of toxic, but it's just very problematic, weird, not right, all this stuff. It's just all over the place. If this was two grown adults, maybe they wouldn't be in this place together, but now they're just having to reevaluate their circumstances and saying, is there even a future? Like, we like each other, but what does this mean long term? On their drive back into town, Eric looks very sad and conflicted, and I just wanted, and at that point I'm still just like, okay, they're going back in town, I get it, like what excuse did they use? So then Eric gets home, his mom's cooking, she looks unsuspicious. I was like, okay, he must have given a good excuse. And his mom's like, oh, so the cake's here. I'm assuming it's his brother's. He said Devin. I'm not sure if that's his brother's name, but they had the cake because you weren't here. But I hope you had a good time with your friends. So he was able to get past it because I thought his mom probably like lose trust in him because, you know, the last episode she's like, are you doing drugs? I called your friend, you weren't with him. So I was surprised that she believed that he was with his friends, but she did. And For the 100th time, this little review, he looked sad, he looked dejected, he looked really just down eating the cake. It was just like a, yeah, my birthday cake. Like, for what reason? Again, like, you knew what you're getting. It's like a, I mean, I wouldn't say he knows what he's getting himself into with the teacher. He's young, so it's probably his first experience with it. So it's like, it's hard to say he knew what he was getting himself into, but it's messy. It's been messy. And this is when it gets crazy. As if the other parts weren't crazy. Claire is at the bar for her husband's gig with his band, and her teacher friend, Catherine, shows up. I was like, I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but what happened, I didn't expect. So Catherine reaches over the bar, grabs the bottle, and like runs outside, and Claire runs with her. And Catherine is like, let's drink, and they're drinking from the stolen bottle, and they're just drinking, and she's like, what's up? Like, where were you? And Claire's excuse finally is revealed, saying she was at a teacher conference in Dallas. And her friend's like, yeah, BS, like, where were you really at? She's like, no, I was at the conference. She's like, no, I can tell, like, you're glowing, you're cheesing now, like, you're happier, obviously, like, you're having an affair or something. She's like, no, like, that's not it. She's like, I can tell it is, like, who is it? And, like, as Catherine's pushing her, I could see Claire just being like, you know, like, it's just really awkward, like, I'm like, she's not gonna say it. She's gonna give a fake name. She maybe will, like, maybe we'll just go back into the, like, into the bar. Maybe her husband's gonna walk out. And, like, I just had so many different scenarios. Like, okay, the husband's gonna come out and hear that she's having an affair. The husband's gonna come out and they're gonna stop talking about it. She's gonna give a fake name. They're just not gonna, like, I just thought that was gonna happen. You know what happened? Claire said it was Eric who the affair was with. And she's like, okay, like, Eric who? And she's like, Eric Walker. And she's like, Catherine, this is who I'm reacting. She's like, and she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. And then she's like, no, like, it's who it is. She's like, no, you're shitting me. And she's like, no, like, it's him. And then the way that, if she was drunk or buzzed, the way she sobered after that, it got, I mean, again, it was an expected reaction. Imagine telling your teacher who knows that that's your friend's student. And she was like, yeah, that's him. And she's like, I'm confused. Like, that's your student. She's like, yeah, well, we're in love, and I'm in love with him. Like, we have, it's like a real relationship. He's 18. She starts like being defensive and like starts defending the relationship. Like, he's of age. He's 18. We love each other. It's consensual. Like, it's just, that's like my nerve. Like, it just got really, really bad. And then, but what was gross, what weird, Claire's like, the D is great. I love it. I'm like, ew. It was just weird. Oh, it was so weird. And then she's just disgusted, by the way, Catherine, when she finally reveals that or she finally gets out the answer that it's Eric. And Claire's like, we're in love, he's over the age. And then Catherine kind of ends the conversation with saying, like, that's monumental abuse of power. I have no choice but to report you. And Claire is like, no, but you forced me into it. Like, I wasn't going to say anything. And I don't know how to say this correctly, but she did force her, so she kind of felt compelled to have to say something, but not, like, the whole thing's really bad. It was kind of to come out somehow, and I didn't expect it to be like this. But she's like, yeah, you, like, forced me into it. It's like, I just can't, like, he's your student. Like, that's just an abuse. Like, that, I don't even, oh, God. And she walks away, I think, or maybe she gets into her car, because the scene cuts off with Claire just being, like, she outed herself at this point. It's not even him, she outed herself. And I'm assuming she tells her husband or something next or whatever, and that's probably where that part in the trailer where he's like, you made a mistake, I can't believe you, because she obviously is gonna have the skill that's gonna be on her face, or I don't know, like, I just, whoa. What, we're on episode 5? Whoa. Yeah, so, what do y'all think? Was there any music in this episode? I don't know. Oh yeah, there was. There was like covers of music, but yeah, that was the review. We are definitely winding down with this little mini series. Let me know what y'all think. So don't forget to hit a like, comment down below, because I love interacting with you guys, and don't forget to subscribe so I know I'm doing well. See y'all next time. Bye!